The third pillar, and this is the one most men skip because they assume it's not for them, is appropriate supplementation, guided by an actual blood test. Here's why this matters so much. Vitamin D needs are highly individual. Your skin tone, your geographic location, your body weight, your kidney function, and your existing baseline levels all affect how much you actually need. This is exactly why we always recommend asking your doctor for a simple blood test called a 25-hydroxy vitamin D test. It's quick, it's common, and it gives you and your doctor an actual number to work with instead of guessing. The Endocrine Society and many physicians consider levels below 20 nanograms per milliliter to be deficient for most adults, with levels between 20 and 30 sometimes considered insufficient, depending on individual health factors, though these thresholds can vary by organization and by individual circumstances. Once you know your number, your doctor can recommend an appropriate supplement dose, because taking a random amount without knowing your baseline is a little like trying to fill a gas tank without knowing how empty it already is. Now here's how these three pillars work together, because none of them operate in isolation. Smart sun exposure gives your body its most natural and efficient source of vitamin D production. Targeted nutrition provides a steady backup supply, especially during darker months or periods of limited outdoor time. And appropriate, doctor-guided supplementation fills in the gap precisely, based on your actual measured levels, rather than guesswork. Together, these three pillars create a complete system, not a random collection of tips, that gives your muscles what they need to function the way you remember them functioning years ago. But that's only part of the story, because vitamin D doesn't work entirely alone. Here's something that surprised many researchers over the years. Vitamin D works closely alongside other nutrients, particularly calcium and magnesium, and even alongside adequate protein intake to support muscle function fully. Think of vitamin D as the messenger that unlocks the door, but calcium and magnesium are like the tools that actually get the work done once the door is open. This is part of why simply taking a vitamin D supplement in isolation, without attention to your overall diet, sometimes produces underwhelming results for some people. The body works as an interconnected system, not a collection of separate parts. And that's exactly why we built the Sunlight Strength System around addressing multiple angles at once, rather than chasing one single fix. Let's talk for a moment about a common mistake men make once they learn about this. Some men hear vitamin D deficiency and immediately go buy the highest dose supplement they can find at the pharmacy, thinking more must be better. But vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin, which means, unlike vitamin C or B vitamins that your body simply flushes out if you take too much, vitamin D can build up in your fat tissue over time. Taking excessively high doses without medical guidance can, in rare cases, lead to problems like elevated calcium levels in the blood. This is exactly why we keep coming back to the blood test and the conversation with your doctor. It's not about being cautious for the sake of being cautious. It's about being smart, precise, and effective, rather than throwing a random high dose at the problem and hoping for the best. Now let's address another myth I hear often, especially from men who've spent their whole lives being physically active or working outdoor jobs. Some men assume that because they spent decades working construction, farming, or some other outdoor profession, they must have plenty of vitamin D stored up from all those years in the sun. Unfortunately, that's not quite how it works. Vitamin D isn't stored indefinitely at high levels from your younger years. Your body continuously uses and processes it, which means your levels reflect your current sun exposure, diet, and supplementation, not what you did 20 or 30 years ago. Many men who spent their careers outdoors and have since retired into a more indoor lifestyle are surprised to learn their vitamin D levels have actually dropped significantly compared to their working years. Here's another layer to this that deserves attention, because it connects directly to why fatigue feels so persistent for so many men over 60. Vitamin D has been studied in relation to inflammation in the body. Think of inflammation like rust slowly forming on metal machinery. A small amount is a normal part of the body's repair process, but chronic, ongoing inflammation, the kind that builds up quietly over years, can interfere with muscle repair and contribute to that persistent, hard-to-shake tiredness so many men describe. Some research has suggested that adequate vitamin D levels may help support a more balanced inflammatory response in the body, which is another reason correcting a deficiency can translate into feeling noticeably less foggy and drained on a day-to-day basis, not just stronger in the gym or in the yard. Let's bring this back to something practical and human, because I never want this to feel like a lecture. Imagine a version of yourself 6 months from now. You've had your vitamin D levels tested. Your doctor has helped you find the right supplement dose for your body specifically. You've started spending a little more intentional time outside, maybe a short walk after breakfast instead of scrolling on the couch. You've added salmon to your dinner rotation once or twice a week. Small changes, nothing dramatic, nothing that requires a complete life overhaul. Now picture yourself standing up from that same chair, walking up those same stairs, carrying that same bag of mulch from the truck. It's not that you've become a different person, it's that the specific piece of the puzzle that was quietly holding you back has been addressed. And your body, the way it was designed to, responds. This is why we called this framework the sunlight strength system, and not just a list of vitamin D facts. Because frameworks like this are meant to be lived, not memorized. Smart sun exposure, targeted nutrition, appropriate blood test guided supplementation. 3 pillars working together, consistently, over time, rather than a one-time fix you try for a week and abandon. Now, I want to be very clear about something, because trust matters more to us than views or watch time. Vitamin D correction is not a magic cure. It will not turn back the clock entirely or make every ache disappear overnight. Muscle strength in men over 60 depends on multiple factors, including physical activity, protein intake, sleep quality, and overall health conditions. Vitamin D deficiency is one significant, well-documented, and correctable piece of that larger picture. And for many men, addressing it produces a real and noticeable improvement in energy and strength. But it works best as part of a broader commitment to your health, not as an isolated silver bullet. If you're experiencing significant fatigue, weakness, or other symptoms, please talk with your doctor, get appropriate testing done, and work with a qualified healthcare professional who knows your full medical history. This video is meant to inform and empower you to have that conversation, not to replace it. Which of these 3 pillars surprised you the most? Was it learning that your muscles have their own vitamin D receptors? Was it discovering that your past outdoor years don't protect you today? Or was it realizing that more supplement isn't automatically better? Drop a comment and let us know, because it genuinely helps us understand what matters most to men in your exact situation, and it helps other viewers who might be feeling exactly what you were feeling before this video. And if you know another man in your life, a brother, a friend, your own father, someone who's been quietly dealing with the same fatigue and weakness and just assumed it was simply age catching up with him, do him a favor and share this video with him. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for someone you care about is hand them information that changes how they see their own body. Let's zoom out for a moment because I want you to walk away from this video with more than just facts. I want you to walk away with a shift in how you see yourself. For so long, the story you may have been telling yourself is that weakness and fatigue are simply what happens when you cross into your 60s and beyond. An inevitable decline you just have to accept and manage as gracefully as possible. But that story isn't entirely true, and honestly, it isn't fair to you. Your body is not simply falling apart. In many cases, it's running low on a specific, correctable resource, and once that resource is restored, your body responds the way it was designed to. This is the identity shift we want every man watching this to walk away with. You are not just someone who's getting old and slowing down. You are someone who has the information now to understand exactly what's happening inside your own body, and more importantly, exactly what to do about it. That's a fundamentally different position to stand in. One is passive, waiting for decline to happen to you. The other is active, taking specific, informed steps to support the body you still have, and quite frankly, the body you still deserve to enjoy fully for years to come. So here's your challenge, and I want you to actually do this, not just nod along and move on to the next video. Tomorrow morning, before you do anything else, step outside for 10 to 15 minutes. Let the sunlight hit your bare arms if the weather allows it. And while you're out there, make a mental note to call your doctor's office this week and ask for a simple vitamin D blood test. That's it. That's the entire challenge. No expensive equipment, no complicated plan, no overwhelming lifestyle overhaul. Just one small, deliberate action that starts the process of finding out where you actually stand, so you and your doctor can build the right plan for your specific body. Healthy aging isn't about chasing the impossible goal of staying exactly the way you were at 30. It's about giving your body, at every stage of life, the specific support it actually needs to function at its best. For so many men over 60, vitamin D is one of the most overlooked, most correctable, and most impactful pieces of that support. And now you know it. Now you can act on it. At Golden Age Strength, our entire mission is helping men exactly like you stay strong, stay steady, and stay independent. Not just for a few more years, but for as long as possible. With clarity instead of confusion, and with real information instead of vague guesses. If this video gave you something valuable today, make sure you're subscribed, because we're going to keep bringing you exactly this kind of clear, honest, practical guidance every single week. You've still got a lot of strong years ahead of you. Let's make sure you're equipped to live every one of them fully. We'll see you in the next video.